Ben saw the class photos of his uncle and father and grandfather, all the Weekses who looked like him, all the way back. Fear was natural. Fear was even part of the appeal. But he belonged. This was the correct beginning for all of it. "Noobs," Bennis finally called out in a whisper. "We are going to see who is the toughest among you." Again, Ennis lapsed into fixated silence, and all of Ben's assurance went away. "We are going to find out who is the bravest, the strongest, the fastest, the best, the best, the best." Ennis curled his fists in front of himself and lowered his head toward his chest now, chanting to himself, "The best, the best, the best." The morning of that day seemed very long ago. After 2 hours on the blazing highway, Ben's dad had taken exit 20 into Doverton's strip of car washes, mattress stores, drive-through banks, the Pizzeria Uno, the Staples, the Boston Chicken. Ben wondered when the school would build its own exit off of 93 so you didn't have to drive through all this. The hectic electrical wires across the sky, the parking lots without a single car surrounding restaurant-shaped buildings with no glass in the windows. They passed Doverton's dignified red brick mental hospital, the tan public high school, the Citgo station crouched in its concrete lot. The road narrowed. Now the houses on either side sagged as though underneath the clapboard they were built of sodden foam. Then the forest seemed to unwind, to expel the hasty man-made things, and it became the kind of forest that people think of when they think of New England. Ben dried his palms on the front of his khaki shorts. His real life was so close, but now, unexpectedly, he wanted to keep driving for a few more hours, to go out into the woods with his dad and find sheets of lichen over wide granite tables. At home a few years before, they had walked through the woods and taken lichen flakes to compare with the pictures in the thick manual on the library coffee table. Since then, that book had lain there, perfectly undisturbed. The back of the Volvo station wagon was snug. 2 hockey duffels full of clothes and bedding, his 3 Prince extender squash rackets, which Prince had just sent him, half a flat of new yellow dot squash balls, action eyes glasses with white croquis, 2 pair of high-tech court shoes. He had Teddy's hand-me-down stereo, a cardboard tube with a Led Zeppelin poster and an MC Escher poster inside, cleats, Saucony running shoes, brown Oxfords, the red Marlboro racing hat with the Formula One car on it that Teddy had given him, which Ben had stuffed with 2 T-shirts and wrapped in a fleece so it wouldn't get misshapen in the duffel, a Mac Classic, a Scheffler tree in a wicker basket, an alarm clock, toothbrush, toothpaste, Old Spice, and shampoo and conditioner in one. A new North Face mountain jacket was also rolled up in his duffel bag, and Ben had cried to get it. They kept driving now under trees whose heavy foliage blocked out the sky. Ben kept waiting for St. James's front sign. He had come up for so many anniversary days, for squash matches where he had undergone Manly Price's famous handshake, for Teddy's games, for years of parents' weekends. And before that, Ben's father had come up on the train from the old Penn Station, and his uncle, and his grandfather, who on the living room mantel laughed in black and white with Bobby Kennedy, and his great-uncle, whose name was on the certificate of incorporation for the Council on Foreign Relations. And before any of that, in New Bedford, Massachusetts, then still a colony, Samuel Weeks had been a sailmaker, sewing by hand the sails for a single whaling vessel, the Vulcan. Soon he ran a thriving sail and boat-making enterprise, and his sons thereafter invested in shipping and importing, rising to prominent places in state government. And so, in order to become equipped to carry on this lineage, 12-year-old Thomas Weeks had in the fall of 1856 arrived in God's Pocket, New Hampshire, in a Surrey carriage behind 2 overcast gray horses, for the first day of the first semester of St. James's first year. Thomas's parents were risking their son's education, and by extension the social standing and future of the family, on a new pedagogical idea. A young minister, the son of a family friend, had decided to establish an intentionally remote, enclosed educational haven in the old-growth forest. At the time, the academies, Andover, Exeter, Milton, weren't boarding schools at all. Their buildings lined each town's main street, and students lived with local families or in independent rooming houses. But every family knew a few boys who had come back from the academies with drinking and